Hello, and welcome to another edition of All Around Town. My name is Roger Wilson, and I'm the Director of Government Affairs and Public Policy. Today's guest is Burgess John Miller from Middletown. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Roger.
Yeah, good to see you again.
Glad to be here. Good to see you.
Yeah, so what's going on in Middletown?
Oh, we have lots going on in Middletown. Just ask our residents who have to drive on our streets every day. We have a streetscape project going on right now, and we're in the throes of it, and getting ready in some respects to maybe be a little bit worse as it moves into the downtown district. Right now we have pretty beat up roads causing a lot of problems for our residents. They're finding ways around town for those people that live in town or around know how to do that. But our people coming from West Virginia, Washington County, they're coming straight through and dealing with all that kind of traffic and congestion and the streets being all torn up.
And just for the viewing audience, where's Middletown located?
Well, we're about 5 miles west of Frederick on Route 40, the old National Road. And that's what the streetscape project is taking care of, is redoing that whole road, sidewalk, curb, gutter, storm drains. And it's going to be very nice when it's finished. Most people who get all the way through town on the west end of town will see what the finished product really looks like, and it's very nice. But it's something that we have advocated for about 15 years, and it's finally come to fruition. But you know, it's going to be a little struggle to get through, but the end result will be worth it.
And what's the timeline?
Well, right now they're telling us they should be finished in March of 2019, but those of us watching this go on doubt that. Probably more about maybe this time or a little maybe early fall of next year when it might be finished. And hopefully we'll be lucky enough to be able to make that timeline. Yeah.
Are there signs posted for detours and reroutes?
Yes, and especially now as we're getting into downtown, into kind of the business district and some restaurants, we've our Main Street manager and our Main Street group has done a great job of trying to provide maps to businesses. Businesses have done a great job getting the word out to their customers of other ways that you can get to the restaurant rather than just coming down Main Street. So yeah, we've been very proactive about that, and the communication has been very good to our residents and businesses. So hopefully things will go on without a whole great deal of difficulty.
Sure, it sounds like it. So how does residents find out more information about the project and just the progress?
Well, we post something on our website almost daily or every other day and State Highway provides us with their communications, and we pass those on to our residents so they're aware of that. We've even done some robocalls to communities in the town that might be most affected by and impacted by construction. So there are a lot of ways that we're trying to communicate with people. But as always, when you have that, people have to avail themselves of that communication to make sure they're staying abreast of what's going on.
Yeah, these projects are always a little uncomfortable, but it's temporary.
It is.
And once it's all done, it's a good project and something that the community can benefit from.
That's right. It is, and that's what we have to really keep our eye on. Is that it's a temporary hurdle we have to get over. But the end result, I think, is going to be worth it. We're not burying power lines, which people ask about. I mean, that was a $10 million investment that we just couldn't make. And we also negotiated with our utilities to maybe bury cross lines in our downtown. That too became very costly. And so while we would have liked that, we just couldn't afford to do that.
Okay. Now, let's jump subjects here. So what else is going on in Middletown? We have some challenges throughout the county with affordable housing for our seniors.
Yes.
Are there any interesting projects that are going on in Middletown?
Well, we do have an annexation that's ongoing right now that involves 148 active adult homes.
Oh, very good.
And I think there's a lot of miscommunication and misinformation out there about this. Originally this started out to be over 200 and some individual residential homes. We negotiated that to 148 active adult. because we feel there's a need for active adult housing and for senior housing. And we limited it to that, and we're going to stick to that. And I don't think there's a problem with being able to meet that goal because, as you know, by 2020, the senior population in Frederick County exceeds the school population in Frederick County. So we're not losing seniors, we're gaining seniors. And so to provide housing for them, I think, is a good thing. It's something that we're invested in. We're also now working with the county executive on our library, and we're hoping to maybe combine that with the senior center. Those are very early discussions that we're just starting to have, but we're finding a need now for that senior center. We have some seed money for that, and we think combining those resources, a library and a senior center together, would be a good way to save the county some money, but also provide both services.
Are there any other amenities that are being planned for this community?
Well, we do. What started this was the developer came to us, and from the very beginning, our board was very adamant about the fact that we want some type of senior amenities available to them. A clubhouse. We want something there where this community and other senior communities in town, we have another one as well, could actually participate and be involved in some senior fellowship activities. So we negotiated that into the plan as well. He will either build that or provide the money for it, and then that's the seed money if we decide to move a senior center into the library. That's up for discussion and negotiation.
Yeah, that's always the question. A lot of times we describe our seniors as active retirees.
Right.
And they want those amenities to go along with their community that they're living in.
And there are challenges with that because they are active. They do still drive on the roads. It's still going to provide some congestion, we hope, and have found, at least in some studies, that they don't drive during the normal times that everybody else does. But we're not going to impact the schools in any way. And their water use, we know statistically from the other active adult community, is far less than the normal usage. So, in that sense, we feel very confident and pleased with the direction we're heading to provide the housing for active adult and retiring seniors.
Yeah, you mentioned earlier about the library that's being planned. Could you elaborate on that?
Yeah, we're very excited about that. We have our library is small, but it gets great use. It's one of the highly used libraries in the county, and so we're very much anticipating a larger facility that will allow for us to do other things in there and some learning sessions as well as just as a resource for the community. And I think the county, I believe, is following the template of Brunswick Library and Walkersville. So we're very pleased to look forward to that. I think in maybe 23, somewhere in there.
Yes.
And very excited. We have a very active group of library volunteers who are just willing to get involved and participate in that process.
So talk a little bit about your economic activity that you have in Middletown. Any new businesses popping up?
Well, we have a lot of economic activity going on in Middletown right now, and that's a good thing. And I think sometimes what happens is, we have some people that fail to understand that the growth that you have brings that commercial development. In other words, you don't end up with a Dunkin' Donuts or a Cinco de Mayo if you don't have the population to support it. And we're not looking to grow our town exponentially or double the size of it, but when developers see that there is growth happening and it's a dynamic community, they want to be a part of it. So we have right now a Cinco de Mayo Mexican restaurant just opened. Italian restaurant is going to be opening up in that same shopping center.
Very nice.
We have an Italian restaurant that's being built in the old Ingalls property that's being redesigned right now. Behind that, attached to the building, will be an indoor farmer's market.
Right.
And then we have a microbrewery planned on the same piece of property. And we're just very fortunate to be able to have a community where businesses want to be and people are supporting them.
Well, sounds great. You know, I like to eat, and
Me
I
too.
love the diversity
Yes.
that you just described there,
Yeah.
and it's very attractive, you know, for people that are looking to visit Middletown and also live
Right.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, this restaurant that's going into the old Ingalls property is going to be right on Main Street, and they have outdoor seating, be right along the street,
Very nice.
set back a little bit, but all the parking will be behind there. So that's going to be a very nice addition to uh, the center of town.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Well, any challenges that you have coming up?
Well, you know, the challenges you always have when you have growth is that some people don't like change. Um, but what I found is in talking about, you know, these commercial properties,
Sure.
you know, people often don't like change, but usually most people like progress.
Mm.
And so, you know, it's funny. I say to our commissioners, you know, we haven't heard one complaint. Nobody's ever said anything about why do we have a Dunkin' Donuts? Why do we have a Cinco de Mayo?
Right.
But you add one house and people get, you know, a little bit concerned, and rightfully so. But we're trying to address those concerns and try to meld those two competing ideologies together.
Understand. Well, thank you for coming in today and being on the show.
Thank you,
And
Roger.
perhaps maybe later on, the next show, we'll do a show right there in town.
That'd be
Okay?
great.
Yeah, all the food, great food and brewery. It sounds exciting. Yeah.
We'll have a lot of food, the brewery, and tell you what, we'll try to get a backhoe or two in the picture with you.
Love it. I love it. Thank you.
Thank you, Roger.
Yep. Well, that wraps up the show for today. I look forward to seeing you all around town.